Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon Live. Because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning and in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put the community first.
Hi, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And thank you, Dr. Vanessa, my co-host. How are you today?
I'm great. Enjoying the weather. I'm
yes. But that's okay. I'm enjoying the weather today too, so you don't have anything on me today.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but tonight we have a special guest joining us because we are still talking about gun violence and police brutality and young people dying at the hands of police officers. So we have a young lady on tonight joining us about fighting for justice for her brother. So let's bring her on.
Absolutely. Our guest tonight is Miss Samantha Felix. She's the oldest sister of Matthew Felix, who was killed by Nassau County police officers in 2020. After Matthew's incident, she became an advocate, fighting to get him justice. She became a speaker at organized rallies and protests. Her advocacy work in his incident inspired her on a new journey to become a civil rights attorney to continue her advocacy work. We would like to first congratulate Ms. Samantha Felix on her upcoming graduation this month as a civil rights attorney from St. John's University Law School. Let's welcome her to the show.
Hello there, Miss Samantha. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you for that introduction.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for joining us, even though it's not on good terms, but yet and still, we have to move forward. Mm-hmm. And so we understand that your brother Matthew was killed in 2020 at the hands of a police officer from Nassau. So briefly tell us what happened to Matthew that day.
Yeah, so, and this is as far as what we're told. There's still a lot of questions that we still have. But that day, they say that Matthew was in Long Island and he did try to steal a car from someone. And then he drove back to our home in Queens. And then from there, Nassau PD was surveilling our home. They did not notify NYPD that they were in Queens. They were surveilling our home in unmarked cars. They watched Matthew get into our home. They watched him get into his car, his vehicle, and then they followed him for a few blocks. He came to an intersection, and I know they shot 4 times into his car. 2 of them hit him and ultimately caused him to die. And yeah, since then, that was February 25th of 2020. And we still don't have answers, and we are still fighting for justice for Matthew.
So when you said that they was outside of your home, watching him and everything, so at no time did they ring the doorbell or approach the house in any kind of way, to say they want to talk to them?
No, at no time did they identify themselves as the police, as Nassau police. They were in unmarked cars. So I don't even know if Matthew knew that they were police. And, if they did feel as if he did something wrong, then when they saw him, go into the house or come out of the house, I feel like that should have been the time to speak with him or arrest him if they felt he did something wrong. Instead, they chose to hunt him down.
So we're saying this was an attempted robbery of a vehicle, or was it the actual vehicle he was in?
It was not the vehicle he was in.
Okay. So what do you think?
What they were saying is that, the case that it reads that he went to buy a car from some man, and while he was there, it says that he pulled the gun on the man and took the car that he was going to buy from the man. Mm-hmm. And so that's how all of this started. So as far as that you haven't had any contact or had a chance to speak to this person, the man that claimed that, that he stole his car at gunpoint?
No, we haven't been able to speak with this person. We have no clue who this person is who accused him of doing that. And Attorney General Letitia James is blocking us from seeing the full investigative report that would have his name.
Well, initially, this case is like 4 years old now. Initially, when it came to fruition at the court, they never produced this witness, the complainant.
No, they were never produced. No.
But you said you never went to court.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you, unless I misunderstood, did you ever go to court? Like, was they ever a court where, you have a chance to talk to people, interview them on the stand,
No, it never
happened?
It never went that far. She just closed the case. So she closed it before it could even get to a trial or anything.
That's interesting.
That's what I did.
I'm a little curious sometimes to wonder, what type of evidence have the family had an opportunity to review? Have your attorney been looking at particular evidence? How is that process going as of today?
Well, like I said, Letitia James is making it impossible almost. She is hiding the information from her investigation from us. She took it to court. Our attorney tried to ask her to release it. She took it to court and said she's not releasing it. So now our attorney is fighting her in court to have the investigative report released. So unfortunately, there is very little information. Our attorney has hired a private investigator to do his own research, to have his own report as to what happened. And I know he's talked to a few witnesses. However, he's still compiling his investigation report.
Yeah, I mean, this is no, they're just interested that a decision was made so soon and it has not been a court adjudication to court. So I'm just curious to know, like, what is there really something they're hiding? Is there body cam footage? No other testimony? It's just interesting that this case is still open 4 years later.
Yeah. So there was no body cam footage because Nassau PD, unfortunately, they're not required to have body cam footage on. So there is dashboard footage, but there isn't body cam footage.
So even your attorney that you have, you were saying that this attorney still cannot get information from Letitia James?
No, because she refuses. She is adamantly refusing and fighting us in court to release the full investigative report. We're given.
What is her reason? What reason does she give the attorney not to give him information in order to, proceed with the case?
Yeah,
I'm not getting that. I'm not understanding that.
And even so, she's not even giving us a full answer. From my understanding, she said that it's not relevant to the case, so she just doesn't want to release it. We haven't been given even a good explanation as to why she refuses to release the full investigation that ultimately will have the answers as to what happened that day.
But you said just a minute before you said that part. You were saying that you didn't. She said something about it doesn't relate to his case. Because the information he's not releasing does not relate to his case.
Exactly, and we were given, and she says we were given a synopsis of the investigative report, but it was very vague. So she's saying that she already gave us that, but we have not been given the full detailed report, and that's what she's refusing to give us.
Right. Have your family thought about taking a case out of Nassau?
So it's not in Nassau. We are in where's the case in? We're in the Eastern District. We're in the Eastern District, yeah.
Have you ever thought about even at the federal level?
It is in the federal case.
Okay, at the federal level.
Okay.
Federal.
It's considered at the federal level now?
Yeah, it is in federal court.
Okay. Because I'm sure they should be able to subpoena some of this information or bring forth these witnesses to get some kind of justification of what's going on. I mean, at least the individual who brought the complaint, where's that individual? I'm sure, did they find a firearm on him? Was it fired? Was the vehicle searched? Did they impound the vehicle? Was the vehicle returned to the family, or do they still have it as evidence?
So they still have everything as evidence, even Matthew's personal items we have not been able to get back 4 years later. And our attorney has tried to subpoena her, but everything she said is they have qualified immunity and she cannot release that information.
They have qualified immunity?
Yeah.
That's what she's claiming.
What is that supposed to mean? I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't understand what is that supposed to mean.
Yeah, I don't know if I know how to explain it that well, but basically saying that the information pertaining to like the officers or any witnesses, like it's privileged and we cannot get that information.
But your lawyer should be able to obtain the information.
Well, that's what I'm
been fighting for it to get the information, still hasn't been able to.
That's interesting.
But this is what I'm saying. Well, my point goes back to the beginning of how it all happened with the man with the car, because that's where it all starts from. So that man could tell exactly what happened.
Yeah, but
did it happen?
Yeah.
Did he take my car? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how he's not going back to the man.
He would be the complainant. Someone would have to point Matthew out to him.
This is what I'm saying.
I mean, who was there? Was there a ride along? I'm sure if in these circumstances he wouldn't have been sitting there at the scene if that was in fact true, that was what was going on. But I just find it weird that how would they pick him up? Did he pick him up from a photo lineup, a show up? How did they determine he was the one, that caused this, that was in this crime, this potential alleged crime?
Yeah, especially since you said they came back to the house. How did they know where to come at?
And that's what we're still trying to figure out, because the reaction that they had for this supposed this crime, it just doesn't. Their reaction doesn't align with it. Like they're saying that he tried to steal a car, and then hours later, several Nassau PD come to Queens and are surveilling the home. We still don't know, and that's why we are pressing for this investigative report.
Absolutely. Because even if they follow him, it had to be some kind of witness or somebody around to say, was there a description? Is she description of the vehicles, description of him? It seems like it's other people that's involved that maybe no one knows, but I don't know if they're undercovers or sometimes they call them ghosts.
Or like someone that knows him that would have sent the police to your home. Because how did they know where to come at? Unless they followed him, because if he's not driving the stolen car, then how do they know what house to come to?
That's what we want to know. That's what we want to know.
See, like, other people involved.
Yeah, something is not adding up here. I mean, I know it's been this length of time, and the family's still fighting. I don't blame you to continue to fight, but. And I just find it kind of strange that the Attorney General office would just do an investigation and cut it off and act like nothing has never happened.
I'm curious to know who the complainant is. What ties does the complainant has?
Exactly. Okay, then, but we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back and talk some more about the case. We'll be right back.
It's Shannon.
They say there are no excuses.
They say to just push harder.
They say to just go faster.
But when we're on the field, they don't know what's going on inside us.
How hard is too hard?
When do we get support?
When do we raise our hand and ask for help? We need each other.
Love. You're mine.
If you're just joining us, we're talking to Miss Samantha Felix in reference to fighting justice for her brother Matthew that was killed in 2020, and we was talking about the case before we went to break. So at that time, Samantha, when it says in the article that Attorney General Letitia James said that she didn't feel like that the officers used insufficient, force, that the force that they used in the shooting, she didn't feel like it was enough, to bring charges against them, which if they're not wearing body cameras, so you don't have any kind of video or anything to show what actually happened when they told him to pull over or they asked him to pull over. There's nothing saying that, so you really don't know what happened when they was chasing him. And if they're chasing him in an unmarked car, if I'm driving in some car and it looked like a police car or whatever, I'm not going to stop either until I get someplace there's light or whatever, where someone is around, because you could think that someone is trying to rob you or attack you or something. So you really don't have nothing but the officer's word in what happened.
Exactly. I mean, there was there was a camera, a business camera that did capture some of it. So from my understanding, and also with what they said in the investigative report, which is also very contradictory, because they said that Matthew, he stopped at an intersection, and then they said that they pulled out their weapons and then they shot because they said that they thought he was reaching for a weapon, and then they shot him. But then they also said they shot him because they thought that he was trying to run one of the officers over. So it was contradictory, because one is saying that they did it because they thought he was going to run them over, and the other is saying because they thought he was reaching. Come to find out, he was not reaching. There was a weapon on him, but it was in the glove compartment, and there was no way he was reaching for it. So that narrative, which is very contradictory, just to me, just raises a bunch of red flags.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even for Letitia James to say it was other words, I'm taking that as it being a justified shooting.
Right. That's what she was saying.
That's how I'm looking at it. But then again, how do you really justify and to say it's not excessive force when the ultimate of excessive force is using a firearm and resulting in someone's demise? But then how do you really make that conclusion and negate the fact that you don't have a trial and you have a conclusion of a trial? That doesn't really make sense to me. And if you have contradictory reports, if someone's driving a vehicle versus someone reaching, it's either you're not in front of the vehicle or you on top of the vehicle, because you can't. It's either one or the other.
Exactly.
Either you're approaching the vehicle and he's coming towards you, you can't see him reaching. But if you contest that he's reaching, then that vehicle could be at a full stop.
Mm-hmm.
So those things in itself, if you have two different reports of two different witnesses, and I'm curious to see what's the individual officers who was there, and unmarked, because sometimes you have X amount of hours before you give a statement. Like 48 hours before you give a statement in cases. Some people may say they're getting their story together. They put their story together, but then again, you don't really know the circumstances. But I would encourage the family, as more evidence come available and you continue to request evidence, look at the forensic component to it. Look at the forensic aspect of it. I'm not sure. Then this firearm that you said was in the glove compartment, was that a registered firearm?
No, it wasn't registered.
Okay. So we don't know the ballistics of that firearm. Sometimes firearms, I'm not sure how he got it. Sometimes they buy off the street. It may be defaced. They may have other bodies, so we don't really know. But that's either here or there. The case that we're in, because they tend to add other evidence, other circumstances, things into a current case to make it justifiable. So don't let them be railroaded by them justifying, other evidence.
Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, the point that they don't really have proof of really what happened. It's only what the officer is saying. Okay, we came to his house. He came out. We started following him. We told him to pull over. He didn't pull over. Or when he did pull over, you have nothing to do with actually what happened. It's just their words saying it. So when you investigate it, and then you don't even have the person who actually started the whole thing with the robbing of the car. It's, that part I don't get, how you don't know who this man is that they're saying that he pulled the gun on.
Then why are they protecting him?
That there is that man.
Why are they protecting the complainant?
Exactly. Yeah. These are all questions that have gone through our minds and questions that we're still trying to answer.
No. This lawyer, is anyone else working with this lawyer that you have? Is anyone else working with him?
No, he's a solo practitioner.
Now, once you graduate, will you be able to join his team and get access to that evidence and review it with him?
So that wasn't my plan after I graduate, but I think that I will have a better understanding of what he's doing. So I do plan on being more involved with the case, just so I know if he's pursuing this case in the best manner.
Absolutely, because sometimes you don't know everything, or sometimes evidence, more eyes on a case is better than just a pair of eyes. Mm-hmm. And I say that because evidence is missed, evidence that should be requested has not been requested, evidence can be excluded. So you have these things, you want to make sure everything's in the best interest, and then it would be whatever the result is, would be the terms the family will have to deal with. But I really applaud you in making this effort and getting you and your family being involved. And I know, just look really at the forensics, the DNA, the caption, look at things that you're not thinking about that could be part of the case. I'm prior law enforcement, so a lot of things that people that get missed. Yeah. And that people really need to look at and request.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe it would be helpful if someone else was on that team with this lawyer, because it seems like that. I mean, I've never heard of a lawyer not being able to get the information that they need to get, particularly in a case like this. Mm-hmm. That means to me too that he can't get that information from her office. Right.
You want to make sure he's not being paid off.
It sounds funny, but truthfully, like she's saying, because I don't know of no lawyer that can't get the information that they need from the office. It doesn't sound right.
I don't know necessarily if it's him being incapable is on his end, or I do feel like that also could show how much Letitia James is trying to deny us knowing the facts of what happened that day.
Well, I can understand her not speaking to the family. It may be a conflict of interest. I can understand her maybe not speaking to the family, maybe a conflict of interest, being that she made a decision. But I think she have a due diligence, at least give the family, applicable evidence, and to have a trial and to bring it forth. I just
no, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying she doesn't have to speak to the family directly herself, because most of the time they don't.
A conflict.
But I'm saying the lawyer. Normally, your lawyer gets what they need, because how can they put their evidence together if they can't get the information that they need?
Absolutely. And you don't want so much time to pass. The next, evidence gets lost. It gets suppressed. People, disappear. You don't want it's been 4 years. It's been 4 years. You haven't had a day in court. Yeah. That in itself seems suspect when there's already been a decision made.
And no discipline period for the officers, regardless. I mean,
there wouldn't be any discipline if they don't have a case. It's as if you go back to working as business as usual.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Whether you have a case or not, even if it is a case or not a case, to me, it starts from that man. So that's how it all started. And for you not to be able to know who that person is all of this time, and you still don't know, the lawyer can't find out who he is. I just think it looks suspect to me, because that's how it all started. Because once you find the man, then the man can say, did he do this? Or maybe he didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So he could have gone to buy a car or whatever, and it didn't even turn out the way they said it turned out.
That's true. And that's why we're trying to figure it out.
He's not here to defend himself.
He's not here to defend himself, unfortunately, so it allows them to paint, whatever narrative that they want to paint.
No, you got to push forward. You can't just let them determine the narrative.
Yeah,
that is a problem. They expect to figure the family will just disappear. You get tired investigating it. Life goes on, but you have to let them know you still want answers. The family's entitled to answers.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
So what? So as we said earlier, we congratulate you on you know what you have decided to do with law school. So now, what do you plan on doing now that once you get your degree? I know you said that you might not, you know, join with him, but what is it? What is your plans now? What are your plans now?
Right now, I wanted to practice in civil rights. I did accept a job with NILAG working in housing. I'm still trying to see if I can find something else, but right now I'll be working with tenants' rights, which does intersect with civil rights. But ultimately, I would want to work civil rights, work on police brutality cases, and also inmate abuse cases. That would be the dream for me after graduation.
Wait, is that tenants' rights here in New York?
Yes.
In Manhattan, Brooklyn, Bronx, and Queens, or what?
Yeah. So I will be.
Well, that's good because they need your help now because you know the NYCHA them is having that problem with the water in the Reese's.
NYCHA has a lot of
arsenic in the water.
Well, NYCHA is the biggest landlord fraud in the city. You know?
Oh yeah, that's another conversation.
But that's what I'm saying. They gonna definitely need people to represent them because I mean, there's so much goes on in the NYCHA situation and stuff that is never corrected. I mean, for them to be finding arsenic in the water, I mean that's like crazy. What is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't do repairs, so there's always something going on there. So I mean, they would definitely need
they collect their rent every month.
Yeah.
Oh, they make sure to do that no matter what.
Well, I don't know if that works with NYCHA, but a lot of times when the tenants come together, you know, they file class action suits together. So this way they can maybe help get some repairs done or something done. Sometimes I don't think they're speaking up enough like they should.
Some people don't know their rights. They don't know.
They don't know exactly. A lot of people aren't informed of their rights. They're not informed that they are, like in New York now, you do have a right to counsel for tenants if you are of under a certain income. A lot of people just don't know.
Well, look, I'm glad, like I said, now that you have a voice, use your voice now, you know, to, you know, help people get the word out. Like you said, help them, teach them their rights of what they need to know and everything. Because, you know, you can speak a lot about that, you know, going around speaking and having meetings, talking about what our rights are. Because like you said, there's a lot of us, we don't know what our rights are, and we do have rights. And, you know, we want to, you know, pray for your family that you will continue to fight, you know, to seek justice for Matthew, and that eventually, I feel that something will happen. You know, the lawyer just has to be really determined to get this done. And, you know, maybe we can check into some other things that you might need to do as well. We can help check into other stuff, you know, people that we know that maybe can help you, you know, move it along or whatever. So let's see if we can do that at some point. So we want to thank you for coming on and, you know, talking about Matthew, and hopefully, like I said, you get justice for your brother and for your mother. You know, tell her to stay strong, stay blasted. I'm sure it'll come to fruition at some point. So thank you again for joining us. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in today, and make sure that you watch us every Saturday at 5:30 p.m. on Brick and 2:30 p.m. on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. And you can catch us every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. live. So thanks again for joining us today. And as always, hold up. Have a happy Mother's Day first. But as always, we'll see you next time.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Would you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Faith Art Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world. It's Shannon.